Hello and welcome to a new reality co-created through and with the all that is. So why am I starting this way? Because I want you to have an understanding that in every moment, each choice you make is aligning you with the new reality. In each moment, every choice that you make aligns you with a new reality. And it's important, especially right now, because we are heading into some very significant life-changing energies as we move through the solstice that are going to assist and support us in whatever it is we're desiring for our experience in our reality. And so I want to talk about this today because I've had many contact me worried about what's playing out with the bank situation and the government in general and the chemical spills with the trains and so many other things that are taking place. And so I wanted to talk about this and give you some clearer understanding of how your reality is being created by the choices and the thoughts that you're making beyond what you may already know. Okay. And so you know from prior talks that every choice that we make creates the reality that we experience, right? But sometimes we're not paying attention to the little nuances of what's taking place in our reality. In other words, we know what we want, we know what we don't want, we believe we're choosing the higher, but sometimes in the actions that we're taking, we're not quite choosing that higher timeline or higher reality, okay? And so that's what I want to focus on today, to give you a better understanding, to assist and support you in better moving forward. I was going to talk about some other aspects of, what's been taking place, but I feel like this is the most significant thing right now because there are so many out there that are struggling to understand that in each moment, it is us, solely us, choosing, creating our reality. Okay, so first and foremost, the most important thing to understand is that in every second, our reality is changing. You're in a new reality right now. The minute that you logged into this video and started to co-create and participate in this video experience, in this connection with me, with us, with all of the aspects of you, which flow through me, all of the aspects of me, right, as we're co-creating. So in the moment that you tune into this video, you're already in a brand new reality. You're in a different reality now. And now you're in a new reality again. And right this moment, you're in a new reality again. And now, and now, and now, and now, and now, and now, and I guess now you get it, right? In every now moment, in every second, you're co-creating a new experience for yourself through every single thought, word, and action that you are taking. And what's important to understand about that is that if you are dabbling in anything that you do not like or do not want, your universe doesn't know that. Your quantum field doesn't know that. The law of attraction doesn't know that. The law of one doesn't know that. The law of cause and effect doesn't know that. The law of vibration doesn't know that, right? I could go through all the universal. They don't know that. And why don't they not know that? Because everything is energy. Everything is energy. Okay. So wherever your attention is going is what you're going to be creating in your reality, because your focused attention is there, even if it's something that is unwanted, right? So we have to remember in each moment, we don't want to focus on the things that we don't like, because giving any kind of attention to that is going to create it in our reality. Now, one of the questions that I received was, Okay, but if, let's take the train spill because that was the biggest one. If that information comes to me, doesn't it mean it's in my reality? No, it's only information that's coming to you. It's energy that is flowing to you. It's your choice whether or not to open up that timeline, open up that reality, and step into it for a deeper look, which means that you're bringing your energy into it and you're bringing that energy into you. Okay. So, what does that mean exactly? So, if that information has come your way, it's just information. And you can make an intelligent, rational decision in that moment. Do I need to interact with this? Or is it just information that is coming to me, something that has occurred on the earth in some location? And maybe my responsibility to it is to hold space for it to be resolved in the highest. Maybe that's all I'm meant to be doing, right? Because the people that are actively participating in that event chose to do that through their soul contract. They chose to be there in that event for the purpose of the experience, whatever that experience is that the soul needs to have. Okay. And so let's say that they're impacted directly, that spill happens right outside their house, they have to evacuate and they're not able to return to their house. And so that means that for some reason, there is some reason, whether it's a karmic reason, whether it's something that there was an exchange in the soul blueprint with another that they had to go through and experience that event. We don't know if we are not taking a look at that soul and that soul's blueprint to see exactly what's going on with them. Okay. And so people all over the globe have signed up for something. We've all signed up for something. Sometimes we sign up for something very monumental because it's something that we need to experience as a soul. And sometimes it's less monumental. Okay. And so this is where I want to give you an example so you'll understand we are all experiencing something, maybe not to the magnitude of the train event with the chemical spill, but we are all experiencing something and we're all choosing to experience that, and how we're experiencing it is a big part of how it will impact our reality. All right. So let me give you a small example and then we'll go back to the larger example. So a small example would be in October, I moved into this house and everything seemed to be fine back in October. Well, about 2 months ago, I woke up one morning and there was, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 ants, little brown ones on the floor in my kitchen, in the cat food. They were all over the place. And I, for a moment, was freaking out. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Well, I've got all these ants all over the floor. And so I called my landlord and I said, hey, I think there's an ant problem here. I've never seen this large amount of ants. Now, let's face it, everybody has ants, right? Coming into March, April. That's a prime time for ants to be in the kitchen. So really no biggie. A couple of ants here and there, not a big problem. But when you have a large volume of ants all of a sudden show up and they're making a pathway through one particular place in the kitchen crack by the cabinet on the floor, then I'm thinking, okay, they're coming through the floorboards and they're probably coming in from outside, but maybe there's a nest because that's too large of an amount of ants. So my landlord gets on it right away and calls an exterminator. The exterminator comes and he tells me, well, you probably have a huge amount of ants, like upward toward 1 million ants, because this amount of ants that you're having right now is indicative of having maybe 1 million ants. And I was like, okay, what do we do? So he did a treatment and it seemed to work for a couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden, one day, about a week and a half ago, I finished up my morning sessions and went out to the kitchen. It was around 2 o'clock. And again, I had this huge amount of ants in my kitchen, all over the floor. They were literally everywhere. On the counter, it was like this one particular place again. And that just kept coming, up over and over again, this one particular place. So I got in touch with my landlord. I told him what had happened. And he called the exterminator again. So the exterminator had been back for a second time 2 weeks after he put down all of the bait and everything. And it kind of looked good, but then this other incident happened. So the exterminator comes back and he's like, okay, this is a bigger problem and you're going to have to put bait traps down. Plus I'm going to put some silicone to kind of seal things up and whatnot. But then, of course, my personal fear was like, okay, you're sealing up the area that they normally come through. Where are they going to come through if they're not coming through this area? Might they end up in other rooms? So I addressed that with him. I've seen them in my bedroom on the windowsill. I've seen them in my office here in my workspace. The window is directly across from me. So if an ant appears, I see it immediately because I'm facing the window. So he put down some bait and he put down a trap in each place. And the minute he put down the bait, the liquid bait and the trap, that night there were hordes of ant feeding on the bait. And it really took a lot for me to not go into like this, feeling angry and frustrated and everything else, because even though ants are pretty harmless, they were impacting me as far as my work was concerned. And every time I sat down at the computer here to do a session with somebody, the ants were right behind, going in and out of the bait traps. And it was a large amount of ants. And then sometimes they would gather, and that was a larger amount of ants. So I'm having this situation with the ants. And as the bait traps in my office and in my bedroom started to become like a coffee clutch for large numbers of ants, I found myself getting upset until I closed my eyes. I went inside, and the conversation that I had with my higher self and upward was this. And they said, you could be mad at your landlord all you want, and all that's going to serve is to bring in the anger and fuel frustration and take you out of the timeline that you really want to be on, because that's not a timeline that I like. It's not a timeline I prefer. I prefer a timeline where, everything is in my state of peace and harmony, and I actually am in tune with my creative flow, and my sessions are in the highest, and I have time to do art and crochet and like do all these other things and go out hiking, and I'm not thinking about anything like ants or any negativity, because I do a really, really good job managing my reality, because I've trained myself how to stay present, how to stay in divine neutrality and be an observer to everything. And here was no different. And so the conversation that I was having was, well, you could go back and you could be mad at your landlord, and you could tell him that he has to pay for the extra bait traps. And now, I had to go out and buy bait traps to plant in the ground outside the grounds of the house, right up against the house where the ants might be coming in. But of course, the message was, or you could choose to understand and use this as an opportunity to shift higher. In other words, we don't have to look at something and choose fear. We don't have to look at something and choose anger. We can look at it and choose to use it as a opportunity to climb another rung on the ladder. And that's what this was about. So when I said, how is that going to work if I'm not telling him, hey, that should come off the top of our rent, because, of course, this ant problem was here before we moved in. Of course, my team, being who they are, and they always have these conversations with me, said, well, you could look at it that way, or you could look at it from the aspect that you're also learning how to be a source of your own resources. In other words, you're not looking for somebody else to bail you out. Okay, so sad that ants showed up, so sad that there's an ant problem in your home, and now you have to trouble yourself with the ant baits and have the company of the ants and all that. or you could look at it as an opportunity to expand yourself and grow. And the first thing that came in was you would like to move, wouldn't you? And your next place might be in the rural country, and you might have some land and some property to have retreats and stuff. Do you not think that there might be some ants there, or maybe some other bugs or something like that? And I thought to myself, well, obviously, if I'm in the middle of the woods somewhere, that is a very big possibility. And they said, yes. So how about using this as an opportunity to prepare for that which you desire, which would be to have a place in the woods that would be a place where I could have retreats. And I thought to myself, yes, that is definitely how I want to look at this. So I wasn't mad at my landlord anymore, and I let go of all of that. And I wasn't mad at the ants, and I put up more bait traps. And I thought to myself, well, this is something that is assisting and supporting me in moving forward. And then I had this awareness that ants are about community. And this year, it's my undertaking to create community, especially in my online community, where we have shifted into the most amazing aspects of everything metaphysical, which includes self-healing. We are looking at energy as medicine, and how to work with energy, how to work with our energy, how to read energy, how to work to facilitate healings, intuitive development. We're learning about light language. We are doing studies in artistic drawing and painting, and using that to keep us in the higher states of 5D and beyond. And so I thought, how appropriate that ants are showing up for me, because yes, I am creating a more expanded community as more and more people join my community, and we co-share together, coming together for the purpose of our personal expansion as a collective within the community, and then on an individual level. And I thought, well, of course the ants are going to show up in my reality for that, because that is the message that they are bringing. They're saying, hey, you're creating greater community experiences. Well done. We applaud you. We're showing up to cheer you on. And I thought, okay, that's very appropriate. And so again, in that next moment, of course, I was thinking, well, here I am setting up these bait traps because I don't want them cohabitating in my house. And even that is an experience. It's an experience for the ants who are choosing to have that experience with me. And it's also my experience with them and choosing to have that experience with them. You see, there's no such thing as right and wrong, right? So if a chemical spill happens on a train in the middle of, a city someplace else, and we look at it and we think it's a catastrophe, well, then that's the experience we're going to have with that event. But if we look at it and we use it for our own education, edification, advancement, higher learning, then we can actually see it from the perspective of a soul, that those interplaying with that experience need it for whatever it is that they're learning. Some people will be in that area because they're meant to be an anchor of higher light, higher consciousness, in order to help those who cannot yet get into that higher state, that higher frequency. So they will be an anchor, a conduit for that light. And the people who are in that lower place of being, who are going to be maybe more greatly impacted by the spill, or maybe have extreme angers toward the government, toward their town, toward their local government, they're not going to have a really good experience. As a matter of fact, it's going to distract them right off of their ascension path. It's going to distract right away and out of these unbelievable light codes that are coming in as we are moving through the solstice. This is it, guys. We're moving into the age of Aquarius, and we will have a taste of that for the next 3 months as we start to move into these codes, right? And then it will anchor in as we're coming into next year, and we'll have that energy of the age of Aquarius for the next 20 years and be working with that. Okay. And so it's up to us how we're going to choose to interplay in this. We need to look at the experience, step back and look at it and say, does this need my anger and my frustration? Or is this an opportunity for me to learn from the highest perspective possible, where I could take this information in and I can use it to move myself forward and become very present in my experience of being me and align more fully with these powerful, hugely powerful codes that are coming in. So everything that's playing out on the earth is a reality that is up for grabs. You can choose it if you desire. If you want to feed it, you can feed it, you can fuel it, you can flame it. But in the moment of tuning in, just prior to making your decision to jump in hook, line, and sinker, and allow yourself to be a co-creator in that reality experience, I want you to ask yourself, is this a reality that is going to push me forward in the way that I'm choosing to interact with it? Or is it going to distract me from making higher aligned choices for my ascension experience? You see, it's all up to us in what we're choosing in each second, right? I could be mad at my landlord, but that is not going to serve my highest, best good. It's not going to serve the highest timeline. It's just not. And when I let that go and I realized, wow, I don't want to create that. I want to create the experience where my universe sees me as someone who can handle every aspect of my life and is ready for so much more. I'm ready for so much more. And I keep telling my universe, I've handled that. I'm ready. I've handled that. I'm ready. I've handled that and that and that. And I am ready. Are you ready? Can you be ready for the next highest timeline, next highest reality in your experience of being you? I know you're screaming at me, yes, I want it. I'm ready, Maria. I'm ready. I'm so ready. I could taste it. I could feel it. I could almost touch it, right? Well, then we have to get ready, really, really ready with everything inside of us. And we can't let ourselves be fooled by distractions that are meant to be, that are needing to be aligned because those souls have chosen that as their experience. And you know, some of us did not choose to have those experiences because maybe we've had them in other parallel realities, past lives, and don't have to experience it in this lifetime. We're the anchors. We're not the participants in that because the soul didn't choose it. The soul said, hey, I don't need that at this time in this reality. I don't need to interplay in it. I need to have this experience over here. I need to be a divine co-creator and hold and anchor that light and allow my vessel to fill and be overflowed with this divine light that is what is coming through the sun, right? So it's up to us in every moment. Don't forget yourself as a powerful co-creator with your universe. Take a moment to take a breath. Close your eyes if you have to. Get out of the reality that you're in. Close your eyes, take a breath, go in your heart center, and ask yourself, do I need to participate in that reality in the way that I am? Is that what I want to create for my experience? Because we get to choose, okay? Another one that comes up all the time is earthquakes. Is California going to disappear? Is New York going to implode? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? And I'm going to tell you, it's a timeline choice. If you're focused in worry on California dropping into the ocean, if you're focused on that, thinking that that has to be a reality because somebody said it must be a reality, then you're going to make that your reality. If you live here in New York and you're focused on a war zone, battlegrounds, you know, an earthquake collapsing the infrastructure of New York City, then you will eventually experience all of that because we're so powerful at creating our reality that has to show up. It can't not show up for you, right? You could go to my feed where the community posts are and see what I post. I post light beings. I post deer that I meet in the forest, and sometimes they're right outside my bedroom window, and I don't have to go to the forest to see them, right? As I'm co-creating that in my reality. I don't want those experiences. I don't want a war experience. I don't want suffering. I don't want economic crisis. I don't want any of that. I can choose to what degree I play that out. We can choose all of that depending on where we're focused within our reality. So I wanted to use this time to remind you, please take a moment today and sit in the fact that you are a powerful, magnificent, divine creator, a co-creator with what is, and use your ability to create wisely. Yesterday, I had a very powerful moment. I was sitting, and in sitting, I kind of zoned out as I was tuning higher, and I was receiving some amazing information and insights, which is some of it I shared here and some of it I'm sharing with you on other videos that I will be doing. But I had these amazing insights, and as I was like very unfocused, I was very in the ethers, I happened to turn my head and look at the carpet where I was sitting. And you ever look on a very, very hot day at something that's super hot, maybe the road or like a building or a car, and you can actually see it looks like waving energy, right? It's waving energy. You can see it right off the top of something that's hot that maybe the sun has been cooking up, right? And I saw this waving energy on the carpet, and I kept looking and looking further down the carpet, and I was waiting for it to stop. Like maybe it was happening just where I was sitting, and I was waiting for it to stop, and it didn't stop. And then I looked all the way to the end of the carpet and up the wall, and it was happening with the wall. The wall was waving. And in that moment, the message coming through was, this reality is not real. It's not real until we give it substance, until we make it real. That carpet was not real. If I was an even more powerful creator than I am now, right? When like maybe in a couple of months, when I have more understanding and awareness under my belt, I'll be able to change that carpet's color through my desire for something different, because it's not fixed. The reality that we live in is not fixed. It's not a fixed reality. It looks like it's fixed because we're used to third dimension having form. It appears to be fixed. We look at that and we think that that is a carpet, that is a fixed fabric attached to the floor. It's got to be fixed. There is nothing else. But when I looked at that carpet yesterday, I'm going to tell you that in that moment, I had this incredibly powerful awareness that I could make that carpet a floor, another color, a tile, something different, because that carpet was not fixed. That energy was in flow. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you that the carpet and the walls and the cabinet and the dresser all looked like one. It was like I was watching a movie screen. Nothing was 3D. Everything was able to be moved. Everything had movement, right? Because everything is an illusion. We have the ability to create whatever reality we want. I am telling you, you have to trust this, okay? And my third eye in this frequency that we're playing in has been activating like crazy. And I'm seeing so much more. And that was a huge aha moment from yesterday. And I had to come on today and share this with you. It's not originally what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about hopefully my next video will be talking to you about how to tune in to experience your intuition, to see fairies, light beings, energy that looks like the carpet in the wall. That's really the talk I was planning on having today, but this other information has been presenting so strongly that I felt like it was very, very important for me to get this out to you now, because we are in these highest frequencies, which started on Monday and are going right through the 20th of the solstice. And then on the 23rd, we have a huge, huge shift. Things will change on the 23rd. And I'm going to tell you, if you are doing a good job being present and being a divine co-creator in your reality and staying divinely present, very focused on what you're desiring as your outcome, you might not see the changes in a huge kind of way. Because a lot of times when we're creating from these higher perspectives and we're not in a state of chaos, the changes are so subtle, unless you're really paying attention, you might miss it. Okay. So don't get disappointed if you don't notice any kind of changes. They're there. I promise you. I see them every day. It's just that they're going to be subtle, and it's going to feel more joyful. You're going to feel more playful, right? So get creative, start doing something creative, go out for a walk. I have a client in about a half an hour. And that's my last session for today. I just wanted to hop on here quickly and give you this information. And then I'm heading into the woods for a hike. And then I am coming back to do a little bit more work and then relax for the rest of the night. So that's my plan. I hope you are going to do something good for yourself, something yummy for yourself. Please make sure you get out in the sun for 20 minutes. You don't have to get out there longer than that, just 20 minutes. Just stick your face in the sun. Ask for the reality that you want. Keep yourself present so that you are seeing, you are witnessing what you are creating, so that you're not miscreating in a timeline, in a reality that you do not want to be in. Okay? So thank you so much for joining me here today. I appreciate you being in this co-creative collaboration with me. It has been my divine pleasure to connect with you, as always. To those of you who are new subscribers, thank you so much for joining our family here. I'm so grateful to have you with us. Have fun. Get out there, do something fun, do some art, sing, dance, paint, express yourself, and know that I love you so, so very much. And I look forward to connecting again soon. Love you. Bye-bye.